Today, I want to share with you all about daring to do, daring to try, daring to experience. Why do we always feel afraid? Afraid to start something new, afraid to take on a challenge, even though we know it could lead to huge changes in our lives. It's always like this, everyone. Fortune favors the bold. Have you ever been bold in your life? Ready to trade your current comfort for a different life? Today, I have some stories to tell you. It's a wonderful morning today, except the weather has been a bit hot lately. It seems nature is becoming harsher. This year is a year of strong fire, an extremely hot year. Sitting here, looking outside, Sen can feel that if you were standing on the ground, on the street, walking, it would be scorching hot. Yet there are so many people working incredibly hard every day. Delivery riders, young people rushing to work, laborers, construction engineers, and many others. Everyone is striving for their own lives. Previously, Sen released some podcasts discussing whether choice or effort is more important. Of course, we can't deny that the foundation must surely be our diligence, effort, and hard work. But somewhere, if we make the right choice, we might reach our path more correctly. Because if hard work alone could guarantee success, then perhaps all farmers would be incredibly wealthy. All those employees in companies who work so hard, putting in overtime, would surely be incredibly rich or incredibly successful. But clearly, we are still caught in traps like the middle-income trap. We're still working hard every day, still diligent, but haven't seen a breakthrough for ourselves. Today, Sen is here to share her own story and what she's observed from those around her. Sometimes, we have to choose a dangerous, more challenging path to achieve results that might exceed our expectations. Let's go back to 2019, when Sen decided to quit her corporate job and become a full-time YouTuber. At that time, her job offered a fairly stable income, and people always instilled in children the idea of getting a stable job, stable. But those two words, stable, Sen feels that the older she gets, the more she realizes it's just a lie. Because in reality, nothing in this world is stable. Because we believe in stability, many of us might have been laid off recently, despite dedicating many years, 5, 10 years, to a company, only for the company to downsize, face difficulties, and no longer be able to pay its employees. Or with AI, with more modern, advanced technology, they will replace you immediately. So, stability here isn't about salary stability. The stability Sen aims for is stability in one's capabilities. And to have stable capabilities means you always have an advantage in the job market. This means you always need to develop because the world is constantly evolving. Even technology, and so many scientific and technical advancements, everything is developing. So, if we stand still and think that simply being diligent and hardworking without any progress in our plans, strategies, or personal value, it will be truly difficult to seize opportunities for breakthroughs. This is Sen speaking from the heart. In 2019, I didn't think I could perceive things as clearly as I do now, because many years have passed, and Sen sees things more clearly every day. But even at 18, Sen thought about becoming her own boss someday. Sen never thought she'd work for someone else for a very, very long time. Her plan was to work for about 5 or 6 years, gain some experience, and then have her own business. It might just be a small shop, but at least Sen believed that without trade, there is no wealth. And 18 or 19-year-old Sen was very ambitious. The older she gets, the less ambitious she becomes, because almost by nature, once Sen achieves her own goals, she doesn't get swept up in the pursuit of money or fame. But that will be a later part Sen mentions in this podcast. First, Sen still wants to share about being bold and how we can dare to try, dare to fail, dare to grow, and dare to transform ourselves, instead of being the same old version day after day. In 2019, when I decided to quit my job, it wasn't easy at all. Because at that time, receiving a salary of around 20 million VND, Sen felt it was quite a large sum. Every month, Sen saved at least 10 million or even more. But Sen thought, why not try something new? Try a job I enjoy? Maybe it wouldn't bring in money immediately, but who knew? Back then, I wasn't sure if YouTube could provide good income. It was simply that I felt it had potential, it was something I liked, and it offered me time freedom. At that time, I was renting a place for about 2.5 million VND a month. My monthly expenses weren't too high, usually under 5 million VND. So, with the savings I had then, Sen could live for about a year without needing additional income. That's why I thought, if not now, then when? Because perhaps the older I get, the less reckless I'd be. The younger we are, the easier it is to be reckless, my friends. But of course, if you have nothing in hand, no experience, no knowledge, then being reckless will clearly lead to losing a lot. At that time, Sen still thought things through quite carefully. After about 2 years of working full-time at various companies, Sen had a certain amount of knowledge about digital marketing and communications. Especially in content, Sen had about 5 years of experience, because ever since university, Sen had been writing for a long time, writing articles, managing fan pages, and many other things. From the very beginning, her roots were in content. In fact, back in middle school, she discovered her talent for writing. She never had to force herself to write, but every time she did, she was at the top of her class. At that time, if I thought about the gains and losses, I figured, well, if I lose, I've lost a rather large, stable income. But Sen was confident that if after 6 months she couldn't earn money from YouTube, she could easily go back and find a job without a pay cut. In fact, she might even find a higher paying job, because at that time, she was quite confident in her abilities at work. When Sen first moved to Saigon, only her first job in 2017 was one she found herself. All subsequent jobs were offered to her by others. Saying offered might sound a bit grand, but actually people she had collaborated with felt she was reliable and worthy of recommendation. So they recommended her to other bosses at other companies. She met them, they read her CV, and they hired her. It was that simple. And when Sen decided to leave, her boss tried very hard to keep her, spending almost a month asking her to, "Come down, I need a favor." So they sat for coffee, and he strongly urged Sen to stay, saying the company really needed her. Of course, this isn't shared to boast. Sen just thought, if someone still needs me, even though I want to leave, it means I have a certain value. At that time, Sen thought that if she couldn't make money after 6 months, she could immediately find a job without worrying. So, Sen still wants to emphasize that if you want to take risks, you should at least have a certain foundation. That is, you should still have a plan B as a fallback. At that time, Sen also prepared her plan B. You shouldn't be too reckless if you don't have any other options. But of course, if you truly believe in yourself and your strategy, you can absolutely be bold and gain a lot. Sen herself is actually quite a cautious person. She's not extremely adventurous. She still prepared a plan B for herself. And Sen decided to try stepping out on her own 2 feet and explore what she could do in the social media industry, in the field of content creation. At that time, there wasn't even a name for it. No content creator, profession, just YouTuber. She still thought, let's see what I can achieve. One of the things that made Sen take the leap was her existing experience in affiliate marketing. Sen had researched this from international markets at the time. But in Vietnam, affiliate marketing was practically undeveloped then. And that was also Sen's good fortune. Because after only a few months, Sen successfully developed affiliate marketing with an e-commerce platform, bringing in very large monthly revenue 9 figures. So it didn't even take 6 months. Sen only needed a few months to start getting bookings. It was very exciting back then. Everything was new and she didn't know much. She even encountered people who treated her poorly because she was just starting out. They would book her and then cancel payments, or she'd finish work and they wouldn't approve it, disregarding her efforts. Sen has experienced those situations. And Sen remembers that at the end of 2019, she went on her first fully sponsored trip to Japan. They even paid us to make videos for that trip. So Sen felt, oh, this job is truly special. It brought her things she never thought she could achieve before. Beyond the monetary value, it also gave her many new experiences. Attending workshops, events, or conversations. There are many things that even now, Sen still finds truly marvelous. Perhaps if you're not in the industry, you wouldn't understand. But there are so many truly miraculous things, everyone, which of course we need to keep confidential. There are very big brands that invite you into a private room, introduce their new products, give you their new, high-end products, and you, of course, need to keep it confidential. Another even more magical thing is the recognition. Even now, after about 6 or 7 years on YouTube, when I step out, many people recognize me. Of course, with the number of followers across all platforms, probably over 1 million, maybe 1 or 2 million, compared to Vietnam's total population of 100 million, I'm still a very modest number. But I truly get recognized a lot. I even get free food, discounts on food and other things, simply because the owner or a staff member is a follower. I feel those things are truly joyful, something to really cherish. Every year, Sen's content receives millions of views and millions of podcast listens. That's the kind of influence I never thought that young girl from 2019 could achieve. At that time, I wasn't at all sure that what I have now would be possible. If I had been so sure, I probably would have started earlier. Currently, if you have plans or want to achieve breakthroughs in life, Sen thinks you should think it through and map out your paths to begin. If Sen hadn't started in 2019, she wouldn't have today's achievements. Especially as the world continues to change and develop. AI is on the rise, online business is on the rise. Suddenly, things online have significant advantages in this period. Sen isn't talking about the next phase yet, because each period has its own adaptations and changes. But first and foremost, on a smaller scale, Sen still thinks that if you feel you have gained certain experience after many years of working, and now you're passionate about something and really want to open a business, like a coffee shop, fashion store, tea shop, restaurant, or many other things, then Sen encourages you to try doing it, and dare to make mistakes. In reality, we learn only about 5 to 10% from books or from what others say. But learning from our own mistakes can account for 70 to 80% everyone. In the process of doing, Sen realized that you truly need to encounter mistakes to become wiser, to mature and gain experience. So, if you want to open a coffee shop now, you might start by balancing the financials, then find a location, and then start experimenting. You might make many mistakes with suppliers or operations, but gradually you'll find the loopholes and fill them with knowledge. And from there, you'll slowly develop more. When starting out, Sen has a small piece of advice. Let's start small. Don't rush into anything too grand. Unless you're extremely bold and incredibly confident, then Sen still supports you. But Sen herself is someone who wants to change and be daring, but also has a parallel desire for certainty, for safety. So Sen still advises you to start small. And then, once you succeed, expanding later is not too late. Don't wish to succeed too quickly, too soon, but rather think, I am experiencing and pushing past my comfort zone. I am challenging myself to see how far I can go. So, if that experiment costs too much, it might lead to regret. Because some people were so reckless that they lost everything. Especially for those of you listening to this podcast who are young, when you don't have many assets or much to lose, you might have more opportunities to be daring. Recently, Sen also looked at her horoscope. In fact, Sen isn't superstitious, but for Sen, astrology is a science, and it involves probabilities. So, by understanding it, one can grasp certain things and use them to formulate strategies. Each person's birth chart can reveal strengths and weaknesses in their personality regarding career and even marital relationships, for example. Based on that, we can fully consider which path might suit us. Of course, not everyone is cut out to be their own boss, but changing jobs or changing environments is already a challenge. It's already pushing beyond one's comfort zone. You don't necessarily have to be an entrepreneur to face a challenge, everyone. There will still be many other things, as long as you feel you are doing something different, something that helps you grow. In Sen's birth chart, she is quite suited to being her own boss because Sen loves freedom and has a sharp mindset for current trends. From another perspective, the chart also says that she has communication and conversational skills and the ability to influence others. So, what Sen is doing currently aligns quite well with that birth chart. It seems she is on the right track. Nowadays, you can even check your horoscope with ChatGPT. Do you believe it? You can certainly interpret it yourself, but the key is knowing how to analyze and apply it to your life. Sen believes you can entirely interpret it yourself. You can buy astrology books and do it. There's no problem. And if you want to consult an astrologer, you should choose reputable ones. But first and foremost, you should assess yourself through your daily habits and personality to see what choices you would make when facing risks and challenges. Sen knows that many people are living what they consider a stable life, and perhaps because of that, they are now slowly regretting why they didn't try when they were young. They were afraid of making mistakes, afraid of failure, and afraid of many other things. Sen believes that, of course, everyone wants a stable life and a good foundation. But in a certain aspect, if we want to elevate ourselves to a position we aspire to, then clearly, we need a springboard. And to have a springboard, we need to be bold, everyone. Diligent training alone is not enough. We must be bold and make the right choices. So, what Sen is sharing here is also to encourage you to trust your instincts and be daring. This is also a time, Sen thinks, that calls for a lot of transformation. Think about reinventing yourself. This doesn't mean you have to change friends, change jobs, or change everything. Sometimes going to bed early is a change. Stopping social media use is also a change. Or starting to become a content creator is also a change. Taking on an additional job that you always wanted to do but haven't yet. Or learning a new language online, learning a new skill. If there's something new in your current life that you crave to do, you can learn it and do it for yourself. If you've been quite introverted, not wanting to meet and chat with people, this is also an opportunity for you to go out and talk more, to receive more energy from outside to see if you have any changes or innovations in your life. Start with small things like that. Sen believes this is a time for transformation, not just for you, but for many others, for Vietnam, and for the whole world. In the coming years, from 2025 to 2027, Sen thinks it will be an incredibly difficult period worldwide, not just economically, but also concerning nature and many other conditions. Politics, war, many difficulties will arise. But that doesn't mean we should sit idly by. Perhaps that's why we should reinvent ourselves and wait for the right moment. Sen thinks this way because perhaps after the rain comes sunshine, after the crises, things will get better. We never know what the future holds. People even talk about the end of the world, you never know. But Sen feels that sometimes, being a little reckless will make us regret less about the things we didn't do later on. When you're young, with so many aspirations and passions, clearly no one wants to confine themselves to safety by restraining themselves, not allowing themselves to go out and grow. Perhaps especially between the ages of 18 and 35, that's a crucial time to reinvent yourselves, everyone. Because maybe after that, we gradually become more cautious, less daring, less challenging, only preferring stability. But anyway, with the mindset of a young person also striving hard in life, Sen knows that you really yearn to change yourselves, to change your lives, and Sen is here to encourage you. Believe in yourselves and reinvent yourselves, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Make mistakes, make many mistakes to gain experience. Experience this life. If we keep ourselves guarded and never make mistakes, then we never learn anything new. You have to make mistakes and accept them. Like that, over time, you will mature so much. Just like Sen now, looking back at her past self, Sen sees, oh, I really made a lot of mistakes back then. To become more mature now, calmer, more discerning, better at speaking, knowing how to keep things appropriate, knowing how to behave. In work, she also has more experience from which she makes decisions more confidently. And if not for those mistakes, perhaps Sen wouldn't be who she is today. And because that girl from back then was daring enough to do YouTube, now she has the life she has today, her dream life. So, those are the things Sen wants to share with you, that Sen supports you in your recklessness, in your willingness to change, to do bigger things, and to walk your own path, to strive to walk your own path. Sen supports you in that. I also have a friend who grew up in a very well-off family, and we've been friends for many years. Recently, when we sat down together, she told me, "You always live exactly as you want, always say you'll do something and then work hard, and you're so strong, so admirable. But I feel a bit scared. Many times I wanted to move to Saigon to start a career, but then I worried if I would succeed or not. And now, even though life here is quite comfortable, I've never felt like I'm truly living as myself. I've never fully satisfied the desire to experience life within me." And Sen doesn't want you to have regrets. No matter what kind of family you grew up in, whether you necessarily need to escape poverty or strive to get rich, Sen thinks that ultimately, no matter what, we are here on Earth to discover ourselves, and you can do more than you think. Is that so? Do you believe that? Sen is very grateful to all of you for listening to today's podcast. This is a very special podcast Sen wants to dedicate to you. Once again, Sen is always grateful that you are still here and listening to Sen's podcast. Some of you listen every night to help you fall asleep and don't even know when you drift off. And once again, Sen looks forward to meeting you in upcoming podcast episodes. Good night.